Hey everyone, welcome to the 10K in 30 Day live weekly webinar. I am your host, Vanessa Simpkins from TakeYourPowerBackNow.com. Today we're talking about sales. It is the end of the year, my friends. Oh my gosh, November 20, what day are we today? 29th. Huge epic realization. So I decided today, why don't we talk about sales? When we talk about the fueling engine of your business, how to get more sales, why this time of the year particularly is absolutely the best time of the year to be promoting your coaching, consulting, business and programs, and how to get more sales. We're going to talk about the ins and outs of sales and everything in between. It seems to be that time. Had some interesting conversations with my clients in the last few days, so I know it's a really hot topic. And I want to welcome you to the live weekly webinar. And make sure before we launch into the training, hey Stacy, okay, awesome. I was just gonna ask, let me know, type in your name here in the chat box, let me know that you can hear me, that all this amazing technology is working. And please do go ahead also and let me know what your questions are. What questions do you have for me about sales? Specifically, how to, what things are you challenged with? What would you like to learn how to do better? Please let this be an interactive time. I say this every week. I really do mean it. 90% of success is just showing up. Hey, Michelle. Awesome sauce. Okay, so you guys can hear me. Hey, Barry. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. So 90% of success is showing up. So don't let this be another webinar where you're kind of like, listening or watching and you have like 25 different applications open, but actually show up, be here, participate, ask questions. Clarity is power in your business. When you are clear, you get into action. Action leads to results. So hey, Trish from Palm Springs. Hi, Ivy. Welcome, welcome. We got some cool people here from all around the world. More people joining us. And let us dig in. Let's jump right into today's training. I'm actually celebrating. I got to celebrate something with you today. Is actually my first $100,000 month in sales in my business. Boom! So huge wins that I'm celebrating. If I look back a year from today at what my business was like, it's a very different story. And so I want to celebrate that today by sharing with you, how this whole thing works. And we already have some great questions lining up here. Hey, Gigi, thank you. Yeah, thank you, soul sister. Yeah, big month of sales. So please go ahead. Post your questions here in the chat box. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Eileen. Welcome, Eileen. Stacy. Oh my God, way to go. Blows my mind. Yeah, I know, right? 100 grand in sales. Wow. And it's only going to grow. It's only going to grow. So I want to share with you what I've learned along the way. I've made a lot of mistakes in my career. For those of you who are just joining me, I have been doing this now for 8 years. I'm going to share with you really quickly just a little bit about myself and my business, and then I promise we're going to launch into the training. So Vanessa Simpkins, some people call me the bikini business coach. And again, my website's called TakeYourPowerBackNow.com. I'm a little Canadian who traded in her red shovel for a red bikini and took my online business, my portable, profitable coaching business, to move to the paradise island of Kauai, Hawaii. And that was always my dream, to be able to live and work from anywhere in the world. And I'm kind of a little bit of a rebel. I don't like to follow other people's rules. I like to tell people I make my own rules and let other people follow them. Maybe that's the Capricorn in me. I don't know. But I've written 2 books, From Bankrupt to $900 a Day Selling Mops. I should actually go get those books and show them to you. Take Your Power Back Now, the ultimate confidence guide for women. And I love my business today. I really have a movement inspiring, training, teaching, coaching women's empowerment leaders how to make sales, how to grow their business, how to grow it online, how to have more freedom. I've been featured on a few morning shows on Fox, ABC, CBS television. I'm the creator of an awesome kick-ass program for spiritual women entrepreneurs called the 10K in 30 Day program. Maybe I should start a 100K in 30 Day program. Spoken on a TED stage. Made my first 6 figures in coaching, really doing simple things. So I want to share with you simple ideas today that can help you really get out there in a big way. And I really have enjoyed this journey. There has been a lot of bumps in the road. I didn't always start off as a rock star. I actually started my business with a bankruptcy way back in the beginning. I think in 2006, that's 10 years ago now. I was an epic failure. I went bankrupt. I started so many different businesses. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I just really misjudged all of the new learning curve that it is really necessary when you move from a job into being your own, having your own business. It's a totally different world. I had a ton of mindset gremlins and self-worth issues. And even though I became a rock star salesperson for this other company selling mops and lint removers in kind of like, those, like the ShamWow guy does on TV. Well, I did that in stores, and I would travel around the country, and they would set up a little stage for me, and I would do these pitches every kind of, 30 minutes, an hour. And that's how I got my sales wings. I kind of started out doing that for several years, and I got stuck in that, and I wrote a book about it. And then I got stuck in a relationship for 8 years, nearly killed me, made another book around, how to take my power back from a narcissistic relationship and the whole healing journey. And so now you have my business today, which is really helping inspire other people on how not to get stuck. And so I want to share that with you, just to share with you that, oh my gosh, wow, Vanessa, you're doing so well. I really came from very epic failures. That's how this all started out. So just know that wherever you're at, you're in the right place. You're in an amazing place that you found this training. And my intention is to really help you not make the same mistakes that I did. Okay, we've got some great questions here. How to pitch a high value package, and before that, how to develop the 90-day program model. So Stacy, I think you're already my client. So you're already asking some great questions. And Ivy says, how to sell a service without sounding too salesy and cheesy, which I totally love. So I'm just going to start, and I'm going to go ahead and answer those two questions. So for many of the new people that are listening in here in my program, one of the things I tell my coaches to do is to let, when people are making a buying decision, if you give too many people too many options, if there's confusion, a confused mind does not make a decision. So that's a writer downer. And I'm going to invite you all, if you don't have one of these big paper books here like I have, I live my life with these things. So big thing, that's a one-pager. A confused mind does not make a decision. That's a one line right there. So you want to think, when starting out, there's so many things to do, so many programs, so many, oh my God. So start with one program. It's a 90-day one-on-one program. You don't have to have a membership site. You don't have to have any of this fancy shit. You want to sell people into a 90-day program with you where they have 9 calls with you, 1 every week for the first 3 weeks of the month. The last week is off so that you can, and this is nothing new, I've shared this before. I'm happy to go over this. And if you guys are losing me, just hit the refresh button. It should come right back. You guys should just hit refresh. I'm just going to go and make sure you guys know about that. Hit refresh. Okay, so 90-day program, 9 calls. Get the last week off so you can work on your business or take a vacation and not have to be working in it all the time. And the other thing you want to do is you want to price it at a certain point, $1,500 to $3,000, $5,000. Start wherever your edge is, where it's a little bit uncomfortable, and then launch it. All right. So that brings me to the question. Ivy says, how do you sell a service without sounding too salesy and cheesy? So now we're getting into marketing, and marketing comes before sales. So a marketing mentor once told me, before you start having sales, you need to be, before you have a full roster of clients, meaning before your practice is filled to the brim with clients, if it's not, you need to spend 4 hours a day marketing. Oh my God, what does marketing mean? It means being visible, delivering value, and making offers. So who can get you in front of a large group of your target audience in one fell swoop? So now we're looking at networking opportunities. Where can you speak? Can you do a workshop to meet up groups? These kinds of things. And in the meantime, if you're not, reaching out to kind of community leaders that already have a warm group of your ideal clients that you can get in front of and be visible, deliver value, make offers to, what I would do is use the social media channels, guys. This is the most incredible time in the world where you have access to like millions of people for free on Facebook. And the way to begin selling your service without sounding salesy and cheesy is to meet your clients in the conversations that they're already having in their mind, which is problems. People that are ready to buy, that are predisposed to buy, they're awake at night thinking about things. They're like, oh my God, I have a wedding coming up and I need to lose 30 pounds. Or, oh my God, I can't stand my boss and I'm having issues at work and I need to get a new job. Or, you know what, this is really not my purpose and I can't do this anymore and I really need to, I really need to find a way to unhinge myself to really go after my purpose. So marketing starts, this is how you sell yourself without sounding salesy or cheesy, by having conversations with people around the problems, right? Meet your clients, your prospective clients, people who actually spend money and buy with you. They're in a problem state. And so that's how you start to sell without sounding cheesy. You want to be visible, deliver value, and then make an offer. So that looks, to me, I love doing this with video. I love online video because I have big eyeballs, because I love to speak. Even though I have books, I don't like to write. I don't like to, it takes me too long from like my brain thinking to like actual, takes too long. So I love to do video and I tell stories. Guys, I get paid to inspire people all day long. I really do. I'm a great storyteller. I love storytelling. I tell stories about all kinds of things, epic failures that I've had, things that I've learned, ideas, philosophies, case studies. The other day I was at the grocery store. There's a story. The other day I was at the bank machine and this happened, or, I had this, I thought back to a year ago at this time. That's delivering value, sharing your philosophy with somebody. And what you want to do is you want to talk about the problems that people are having. So, hey, do you guys have these problems? Well, here's a little tidbit. Here's 3 keys to get out of it. So great marketing is not, when I talk about be visible, deliver value, now we're talking about delivering value. The content pieces that you make, deliver value, guys. Like, share your best shit. And there's a lot of marketing mentors out there that tell you, like, just give a little bit. Don't give them too much. If you give them the whole cake, they're not going to buy the mousse or whatever it is. So I'm not in on that. I'm just about give people. I mean, this is a free webinar. You guys are getting free coaching right now. It's absolutely damn free. It's great. I think it is. Most people think so too. Otherwise, I don't think you'd come back week after week. This is honest conversation with me. And if people ask me questions, I'm happy to answer them. Because I wished I would have had somebody. I wish I would have had somebody who'd been on television and written best-selling books and done webinars and moved to Hawaii and make $100,000 a month. Just answer my damn questions. I'd be a hell of a lot further. So when you're looking at marketing, and again, we're talking about how to sell without sounding cheesy or salesy, find a way to be that voice, to be the thing that you wish you would have had. And think of your ideal clients. We are talking about coaching, consulting. So your ideal clients are people that are about 3 to 5 years behind you, meaning you've overcome, these certain challenges. So think about yourself 3 to 5 years ago. What challenges were you facing? What were you struggling with? And it's enough about, getting a degree or getting another certification. You don't need another certification. What you need to learn now is from where you are with what you know today, how to get out there and start showing and serving people and sharing what you know and sharing what you love and sharing that inspiration with as many people as possible. Being visible, delivering value, making offers. It's the fastest path to cash. So, Ivy, I hope that answers your question on how to sell services without sounding too salesy and cheesy. So Elizabeth is asking me, how do you figure out pricing for new programs? Another great question. Please go ahead, guys, write in your questions here for me. That's why I'm here today. We're talking about sales, how to have more of them. Ask me any questions. Happy to answer them. That's what this time is for, is to help you get clarity in your business, because clarity is power. So Elizabeth, what I like to do when working on pricing for new programs is I like to start my clients off with an edge. We started about the 90-day program. In the beginning, what you have is a lot of time, and it's the most valuable thing, so sell it in a 90-day program. I would price it between $1,000 and $1,500 or $2,000 or $2,500 or $3,000. Like, where is your edge on that? For some people who have never made, a sale before, $1,000 is like, holy shit, it's huge. So that's your edge. Start there. For other people who have had clients, You know, they're like, well, that's like $100 an hour. That doesn't work for me. You know, my edge is $3,000 for 90 days and those 9 calls. So that's what I would suggest, having one program so that it's easy when you're having a sales call, that there is no confusion. Confused mind, again, does not make a decision. So one offer, it's the best program. Here's what it is, boom, boom, boom. So that's how I judge on how to make a pricing out new programs. I always teach all my clients to sell high ticket. You know, if you want to make $10,000 a month, this is my program, 10K in 30 days. If you want to make $10,000 in the next 30 days, would you rather have 100 clients, you know what I mean, at $10? Or would you rather have 10 clients who pay you $1,000? Or would you rather have 5 clients that pay you $2,000? Sale is a sale is a sale. And when you have higher ticket offers, it allows you to really show up and serve your clients because you feel good about it. You really want to, if they're paying you a lot of money, you feel great about it. You are damn right you're going to serve those people really well. A lot easier to serve a few people at a high ticket offer than to try and deal with, you know, try and make $10,000 by selling a $20 ebook. That's crazy. Okay. Hope that helps. Elizabeth Barry, how do you triage between personal coaching and business consulting? Well, with the way that I did it was actually, I just looped everything into a 1-year high-end mastermind program where everyone was able to ask me anything. And I put it all on there. So I created a membership site after 8 years in business. I do a lot of inner work with people, a lot of mindset work. So I put my best training on the membership site about that. I also put sales training on there, sales script. And really, when you are doing business consulting, let's say I don't actually do business consulting, I really work with entrepreneurs and home-based, you know, solo entrepreneurs, moms, spiritual people, coaches, consulting, healers, people that are moving out of the massage and kind of Reiki business, energy healing, like I used to do. Used to be an acupressure practitioner way back in the day, another past life, and moving into really coaching. So I'm not going to go knock on businesses' doors. I actually don't want to get in a car and drive anywhere or have to get on a plane to make money. Like that just doesn't work for me. So my entire business model is online. So I can be anywhere. I could take my computer. I could, you know, fly to Hawaii tomorrow and run my business from there, or I could be home with the kids. Or, you know, to me, that's what I like. So I'm not in the idea of knocking on businesses' doors and having to displace myself for money. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I don't actually do any kind of consulting outside of that 1-year program. And that's just what I did. I decided this is the way that I'm going to work. And I suggest that you do that. I had another client yesterday celebrate her first high ticket client, her first year-long program. You know, I think she sold it for $13,000. And the funny thing is, if that's the only way that people get to play with you, that's it. There's no bargaining, you know. So you've got to decide. One of the best questions that I ever asked myself was, I'm going to tell myself now, and this is a great question. I'm happy you brought it up. I hope you guys are finding this valuable. Let me know, what's your biggest nugget so far? I'm going to take a sip of water. I do a lot of talking. I do a lot of talking, a lot of singing. You guys ever seen that movie by Meryl Streep, Into the Woods? Oh my God, I love it. Okay. When my business was not working, yes, there was a time where I wanted to throw in the freaking towel, many times actually. You know, I think the difference between a successful business and something you're having as a hobby is that you just never give up. You know, you have those moments and you keep pushing through. So in the moments when my business wasn't working out, I wanted to throw in the towel. I caught my mind thinking that this shouldn't be this hard. I shouldn't have to work this much. And that was a major, major, major suffering thought. That thought made me suffer a lot. And so I started to look at it and take it apart and say, okay, Vanessa, well, you're going to have to work because it's called fucking work. You want to get into great shape. It's called go to work out at the gym. You want to have a great marriage, it's called work on it. You want to have, you know, children who are disciplined, it's called discipline them. You want to have dogs who listen to you, it's called work at it, discipline every day. It's consistency. So there's nothing, this whole idea that you're going to get something for nothing is the biggest thought, the biggest suffering thought that you will have. And so I asked myself, okay, Vanessa, well, how much money do I have to earn in order for me to show up and get to fucking work and enjoy it and be happy about it? What number does that have to be? And so it's like 20 grand a month. I was like, okay. So that's my question to you. How much, would make you actually want to get up and get to work on your business? Seriously, not as a hobby. What number does that look like every month? And then so we're going to design your business backwards now. Okay, so whatever the number that is, the next question is, okay, well, how do I do that? What is it? What's the container look like? And so I decided that I was going to have a year-long program and charge people $1,000 a month. And that way I would only need 20 people. And that happened actually very quickly. And that was the only program that I offered. End of story. And, I got quickly to $20,000 a month. And then I asked myself, well, how the hell do I get to 40? And then it happened. And on and on and on and on. Okay, 20,000 works. Yeah, 20,000 sounds wonderful, right? Yeah, all right, great. Because you see your mind, and now we're getting into really the foundation of success. And here's another kind of part 2 to Barry's question is, how do you merge business consulting and personal coaching? Well, it's all personal coaching, because your mindset and what you command your mind to believe and receive. I'll say that again. Your mindset, what you command your mind to believe and receive, is the foundation. So if you have a tape, let's say, in your player that's like got rock and roll on it, it's like freaking rock and roll all day long, ain't no way you're going to hear Celine Dion. Ain't no way you're going to have a relaxing time. It's rock and roll. That's it. All you got is rock and roll in there. So in order for you to have like Celine Dion, calm, relaxing, peacefulness, you got to change the tape. You got to put a new tape in there. You got to put a new program. You got to install a new belief before you can even allow, greater amounts of wealth into your life. Now, I taught this and I really believed it. And then I invested heavily into, a mastermind with over $50,000 this year. And you know what? The first damn thing they were teaching in that mastermind was about your freaking mindset. So your business success is highly, highly 100% dependent on the thoughts that you think and your beliefs. And so I believe that all business consulting really the foundation is mindset. So how do you merge it? It's inseparable. I'm going to leave that at that. Love having all of the feedback here. Yes, tattle on yourself, Gigi's saying. Very valuable. I appreciate all your content. Thank you. Candace from Montreal, welcome. Gigi, pushing through consistency, work, and discipline. Success and failure are habits. This is the best freaking news. This is the best news. I tell you why. Because you can change a belief and you can change a habit with one thing only. Write it down, just as a one-pager. Someone told me about this, how to take notes in an event. One idea, one page. Trust me, you're never going to lose it. The word is persistence. Persistence. That's how you make a new belief. You don't have to be on the couch with a psychologist for 12 years. You just have to consciously choose this thought every day over and over and over and over and over and over. And all of a sudden, it's like you're in school and you're learning the alphabet. And you're like, look, Mom, I can write. Look, Mom, I can do math. Look, Mom, I can ride my bike. No hands now. Woo, you're getting good at this stuff. It's repetition, persistence and repetition. That's it. So success and failure are both habits. Trish, hey Trish. Have a very good affirmation music CD. It is like Diana Krall CD with affirmation lyrics. Wonderful. This was downloaded from the universe. I love it when you see your mind, when you command your mind, you're going to fix a new goal. Like, Michelle and Elizabeth are like 20,000 works for me. And once you set that goal and you enter the state in your mind as, I already have it, that becomes your new belief, your new vibrational frequency set point. Your higher power will go out and try and find the fastest, most direct way for you to get that. And it will come as an intuition, as a download. And the faster you act on that, the faster the thing that you want will show up. So a big part of this is very spiritual. You know, it is absolutely being able to, how many times do you hear your intuition and you don't act on it? Habit. Again, success and failure, just habits. Get in the habit of listening and following intuition. So she says, it was downloaded from the universe. I'm starting a new business, promoting this. It's about people realizing self-worth. Yeah. Is there a group of personal coaches that I could contact? Well, there's a lot of, groups actually. You should go and become a member of the Association of Life Coaches or something like that. Go look at all these associations of coaches and then find out how you can do a webinar to them or something. Be visible, deliver value, make offers to that association. Okay, those words are only for each industry. This is Barry. Yes, it's all the same. Before getting out of consulting, my average program was about $200,000 a year. Okay, so you're selling programs to businesses, and it's the same thing. You know, so how are you going to be visible, deliver value, make offers to people who can make those kind of decisions? I'm assuming, I had a client once, and she was doing similar work, I guess, leadership programs to. Like the post office was her client, and the postal service in the UK, and she would sell, $50,000, $100,000 kind of training programs to companies. And so again, the issue for her was she wasn't talking to the right people. And so we had her make her program really yummy and juicy and delicious and feel like, yep, that's a high enough price for me. That's worth it for me. I've got to hire that person and this person to deliver certain parts of it. So in the end, she wanted to keep this part. And then we made sure that she was having conversations with not the gatekeeper, but the president of the company. So again, that whole recipe, whatever you want to make this year, $1 million, $2 million, 500,000, 100,000, how can you be visible, deliver value, and make offers to people who can say yes? It's just 3 steps. If you really want to boil it down and make it simple, that's the answer. Elizabeth says, yep, mindset is everything. Candace is on board for 20K. Singing affirmations. Yeah. Singing affirmations. This is, affirmations work. And I never used to think they worked, but they work when your mind is quiet. And I like to sing. I love Meryl Streep. If you guys ever watched that movie, Into the Woods, she's singing. Sometimes I'm always singing. I remember once when I lived in Kauai, I went to this magical place. Actually, it's right here. This is Kalalau. I have a picture of it now in my house. But every month I would go into this magical spiritual valley in the North Shore of Kauai. You can only get there if you hike in on 11 miles, or if you boat in and you swim the shore. And it's a wonderful, magical juju place. And I went in there and I came out with an English accent, just like this. And I refused to speak anything else other than this accent. And then I had a workshop. And I made sure that if you came to my dang workshop, you had to ask a question with an accent. Because if you didn't ask with an accent, you weren't going to get an answer. And this might have happened for like 3 weeks. I was like Vanessa, the English freaking queen. This really happened. People thought I think I was a little bit nutty, but we had a blast. And I did a full 2-day workshop all about online marketing in the queen accent. And they were singing, and it kind of reminds me of Meryl Streep. So if you guys get a chance to watch that movie, whenever I watch it, I'm like singing for a couple days. And if you think about it, so the other day, Alex and I were talking about mindset. I don't know what was happening. We were driving somewhere with the kids, and in the morning in the kitchen, I was singing something. But I was singing something, and it was like I don't know, it was one of those songs, when a song gets in your head, and then all day long it's in your head. Catchy, right? So it's slipped in your subconscious. Songs slip in there, jingles slip in there. That's why people have them, on the marketing, on television, in the radio, slip in there. So, and songs, right? How can you can't get the song out of your mind? So how you slip in these affirmations into your subconscious, that's really the key right there. So I have 20K a month, new affirmation for me. I'm so happy and grateful everything that affirmations work when you use the word I am. We did a full-on webinar last week all about that. You're welcome, Barry. This is really big. Think of the song you haven't heard in 30 years. You know all the words. It's reprogramming your mind. Absolutely. All right. So any other questions today about sales? I'll tell you something. the best thing I ever did for my success, overall success, is put myself in a position where I had to sell every single day. And a successful salesperson has the habit of, hearing rejection and not letting it take them out of the game. And that's really a habit of success, meeting failure and not seeing it as, okay, this is not failure of everything. This is just, okay, that person didn't work out, next. So success was really a numbers game. One of the best habits that I learned was, even when I fail, it's not a failure. It's an opportunity to learn how not to do it. So having those glasses on, that lens, and it's kind of like having thick skin, but you need to, if you're going to work out as an entrepreneur, you need to have it, because you're going to be met with, if you're successful, you're going to be met with a lot of freaking failure. And if I look back to a year ago when I started this whole, automated lead generation machine, I made so many mistakes. It cost me thousands of dollars. I hired and fired several people. My different models that didn't work, but I was persistent, and I made my mind up that I was going to do this. And finally, it's paying off. So this habit of one of my mentors once says, fail forward, fail faster. Don't be afraid to fail. It's not a failure, unless you decide it is. And I got in this job of, selling lint removers and things like this. And I was selling every single day. And what happened was I would meet my mindset, I would meet myself, and I would be forced to take personal responsibility for the way I did that pitch, the way I did that call, the way I did that close, the way I handled that client, the way that this happened or that happened. I was constantly having to be personally responsible. And so I think that a lot of coaches, especially a lot of women's empowerment leaders, when you're moving into the realm of now running your own business, you got to be responsible. That's the best news. There's nothing outside of you here that's, taking you in or out of anything. It's you and how you command your mind. And your oven, let your oven be God. Let your oven be God. That's the heat that bakes things into reality. Yeah, but you get to decide what you put in there. All right, next question. How much time do you give to marketing your new program before launching it? Well, I'm not in the camp of getting like 20 people before you start a program. I tried that once. It's very stressful. This whole launch idea, I am not into. I refuse to do it. I would suggest you don't do it. In fact, because it requires a lot of energy all at one time. I did a telesummit in the very beginning of my business, nearly fucking killed me. I'll never do that shit again. Never. And I'm grateful I did it. I got to interview some phenomenal people like Joe Vitale from The Secret, different authors. I met some wonderful people, Ariel Ford, Mary Shimoff, all kinds of wonderful people. And it was a great thing to do at that stage in the business, but I would never do it again. It was so stressful. It was a huge push. And I also tried, I did a one-day speaking event where I tried to sell people into a group program. And what I learned is that I had to get on the sales call with them anyways. So anything over, really a $500 sale requires a sales conversation. People are going to have objections. You're going to have to handle yourself. So there's no point, there's no reason why you would need to have a start or launch date, a hard launch date. And so what I like to teach entrepreneurs how to do is actually have an open-ended and ongoing rolling kind of mastermind, meaning people come in and they leave at whatever time, if it's a 6 month or a 9 month or a year long or an 8 week or whatever you have, it's just open-ended, it rolls. It's just always going. And then you're always just promoting one thing, and you can start right now. Man, you don't even need a membership site. You just need to start being visible, delivering value, make offers. That's a one pager. That's a stick it on your wall. That's the most simplest. If you just do that every day, you're going to make money. And how much time do you market? Again, 4 hours a day until you have a full 4 hours a day. You should be thinking of who can I contact? What groups out there can I contact with to get in front? In the beginning, when I first launched my first book, I got published in the Montreal Gazette in the business section. And because of that, I had somebody call me up and say, hey, would you like to come and speak to my networking group? And I said, sure. You know, we won't pay you, but you can make an offer. So I did. I made an offer to, hey, you know, let's get on the phone and have a breakthrough call. It was a strategy call. And then, you know, I invited them to join my high-end program, and a lot of them did. So you can speak for free if it's, as long as you're able to make an offer at the end. It's a win-win situation. It's a great way to build your business. And the other best way outside of being live with people is using online video. Guess what all these iPhones are for? They have these great freaking video cameras. Pop it onto Facebook, pop it on YouTube. Immediate connection. Okay, so any other questions? Any other last minute questions here? Trisha's saying, I love what you said about a confused mind doesn't make a decision. Yeah, so make it simple, make it easy for your clients. Make it so easy for yourself too. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. We talked a lot about sales today. I'm so happy that you answered you asked me all these wonderful questions. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that you guys can see this, present to everyone. Continue popping any other questions you have in there. I'm going to talk to you right now about some real life results. Here is Yannick Lemieux. She was a client of mine from Canada, never made any high-end offers before, started using video, started making offers on Facebook. We put together a high-end retreat, and she did $22,000 in sales in her first 30 days, September and October. Not bad. Can you imagine what that would do for your life and your business if you could, in the next 30 days, what would you do? Here's my question for you. Answer it. What would you do if you could generate $22,000 in sales in the next 30 days? How would that change your life? How would that impact your family? How would that influence the people that you live with? How would that influence your confidence? Go ahead and type it in the chat box. Okay. Here's another client result. Amy, she an amazing, phenomenal coach, but she wasn't charging high enough prices for her coaching. We worked on mindset again. We talked about that being the foundation. We worked around her offers. She's now charging $8,000 and $13,000 for her programs and getting it. And she gets to work with fewer people, which is awesome. Here she says at the bottom is one of a snippet. Between you guys, I made over 14,000 this month. Most of it made in my life. Thank you, God. Thank you, Vanessa Simpkins. So very much. Again, you know, she wanted to buy some property. That was her goal, to buy rental properties. And she bought 2 rental properties last year. Not 1, 2. So this is what's possible for you guys. This is what is absolutely attainable and possible for each and every one of you who gets your mindset right and gets clear on the offers that you make and how to get them out there every day. Tanya, again, another wonderful coach, coaching business for several years. She wasn't charging enough for her programs. She didn't have a consistent marketing plan. There's so much going on out there. There's so much hype, and do this and do that and do backflips and run around and do Twitter and Instagram, and oh my God, it's make your freaking head spin. We got her clear on her offers. She raised her prices. Now she's enjoying the 10K lifestyle. And like many people may be listening to this webinar training, you know, she had her family telling her, you better get a real job and get to work, you know, give up on this fantasy coaching thing. She had 2 kids. She'd just gone through a divorce. You know, she was just paying the bills, just squeaking by. Within 30, 60, 90 days, she'd paid off all her debt. She took her kids traveling to Mexico. She bought a new car, hit the 10K in 30 days. You know, she's just having a blast. And again, you know, we changed her offer. She started making higher end offers and started this mastermind model, which was really cool. It's a leveraged way that you can get a bunch of people together and teach a group class, which is just awesome. Whether they're online, maybe you can meet them once or twice a year in person. Have a Facebook group and a live Q&A call every week. Really, really fun. And so she started pricing her courses at $6,000. And, you know, she's got a few of these clients. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. If you have, you know, if you want to hit $20,000 a month, again, it's totally doable. Working from home, you know what I mean? With one assistant, maybe get one assistant to help you. Totally doable. So this is possible. You know, these are real life results. And if you want to get real life results like this in your business, if you aren't my client yet, and you really want to make 2017 a year to remember, the time is now, my friends. The time is now. I'm going to show you guys here where you can apply to learn more about the 10K in 30-day program. Spaces are limited. And you want to apply on this link right here, takeyourpowerbacknow.com/10K ready. And basically, that's an application to get on the phone with one of my team members, and they'll share with you exactly how to find out information. We're going to get on the phone with you. We're going to spend about 30 minutes. It's an absolutely free call. We really want to find out what's holding you back from achieving the results that you want in your business. And we'll find out, what are your next steps, and give you a crystal clear plan on how to reach those. And we may invite you to work with us, we may not. But it is an absolutely free call. And I bet you it will be the best 30 minutes that you spend on your business all year long. And I say that now, again, after 8 years of helping women really skyrocket their confidence and cash flow. So I'm going to go ahead and type this into the chat box. So those of you guys who are watching the replay, you can absolutely click the link in the chat box, or just go to the website, takeyourpowerbacknow.com/10K ready. And, as we kind of wrap this up, I read something online yesterday on Facebook. It was a fucking brilliant post by this guy, Sean Whalen. He's very, he's totally kind of off the wall. He has very strong opinions. And he made a post yesterday about, people saying, I'm going to make 2017 my bitch. And he says, why don't you make December your bitch? Why don't you make today your bitch? Why don't you make this week your bitch and actually show up? And he said something that was so true. He said that if you think that just because you have an idea or you have a dream that things are going to change next year, guess what? They are not. The only thing that really makes change happen is having a plan and executing that plan every day. Hands down. That was the best freaking thing I heard all day. And a big part of my program is, planning. We have a planning webinar every Monday morning for my clients. We get clear on what are your big goals, what are the action steps you have to take this week in order to hit those goals. And I think it's, another habit for success, planning. So how are you planning to make 2017 a very different year from this year? Right now is the absolute best time to be promoting your programs. This is the time when people like yourselves, or if you're new to this webinar, you might be thinking, oh my God, I don't want 2017 to wind up like this year. And what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Don't let the mediocrity of the same thing over and over again, dictate your results next year. If you want radical change, you got to do something radically different. So some people Barry says, I moved back to California, pay off my loan. Yeah, absolutely. He says totally worth it. Yeah, you're rocking the program, you're enjoying it. So guys, I invite you to be visible, deliver value, make offers this month and all through the November, December, January. Don't wait for January. People are making decisions now about next year. This is a really, really hot, powerful time because I'm looking back on my last year thinking, gosh, that was a really good year. I worked a lot, but it was a really good year. And I remember times when I was thinking, holy smokes, this I do not want to live this again. So this is really the time right now to start marketing, start being visible, delivering value, making offers to people, showing up, sharing with them how they can improve, how they can overcome their problems, and make some impact and some change in the world. So I hope you have enjoyed this live weekly webinar. Again, my name is Vanessa Simpkins from takeyourpowerbacknow.com. Every week we have an amazing webinar. Sometimes we have guests. And really sharing juju nuggets of wisdom, tips like this on how to really skyrocket your confidence and cash flow, how to grow your business, how to take it to the next level. I hope you have enjoyed today's training. I adore you. I love you. Thank you for showing up and being here. 90% of success is just showing up. So thank you for showing up. Keep showing up. You're welcome, Elizabeth. And I'll see you guys on another live weekly webinar. Bye, everyone.